What's up, guys? Tyson Deskins of 419 Golf, where I elevate your performance with data-driven feedback. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a question that I recently got on another video about the weight shift and the pressure shift. And is there a good drill for a proper pressure shift / weight shift? I think it's a very important discussion. I think there are a lot of people that are very confused behind what a good weight shift and proper pressure shift is. And I want to give you a very simple drill that everyone can do regardless of where you're at, regardless of if you have access to these amazing Smart 2 Move 3D force plates. Let's get into it. Okay, so I had a question on a recent video, and a guy said to me he has hard time feeling like he can stand on his right foot in his backswing and then stand on his left foot in his downswing. And once again, this is a comment on a YouTube video. I would love to talk to the guy deeper and really figure out exactly what he means. But I think I have enough context to shoot this video and help you guys understand this maybe a little bit elevated so you really can start to do the right things when it comes to a proper weight shift. So oftentimes when I have players who come in here in the studio and they get on the force plates and we start hitting some swings and measuring the ground reaction forces, and we take a look at their pressure, and typically when I work with a player for the first time on these plates, that's where I start. I typically start with where is pressure throughout their golf swing, because a lot of golfers get this wrong. And if the pressure is in the wrong spot at the wrong time, then you're not going to be able to produce the right amount of force at the right time. I don't care what you do, okay? So we always start with pressure first. Where is it throughout your golf swing? What part of your foot is it? And we can really tell a lot about what the player is going to do simply by looking at the pressure. And the most common issue that I see with players when it comes to pressure is in their backswing, they get way too much pressure in the trail foot for way too long. So I will see this almost every single time with a higher handicapper, that they'll get 80, 90% of their weight or pressure on the trail foot all the way up at the top of their backswing. And that person is going to have a hard time in 0.2 seconds, because that's how long the downswing takes, to get all of that pressure in their body in the right position by the time this club hits the golf ball. They're going to have a really hard time. It doesn't mean they won't, but it is going to be very, very difficult and very, very inconsistent. So that player is going to struggle, step one, hitting the ground in the right spot, let alone putting the face on the back of the ball, right? The most common issue I see. And once again, if that player gets 90% of their pressure all the way at the top of their backswing on this trail foot, it's going to be really hard for them to feel like they can stand on their left foot on the way through, simply because they have so much pressure away from the golf ball at the top of their backswing. What we will see from good players, and especially obviously elite players, is elite players will get 80% of their pressure on their trail foot as well, but it is much earlier. It is literally by the time the club has moved 3-4 feet away from the golf ball. They get maximum pressure on their trail foot right here. As that club continues to go up, their pressure is actually now already moving back to the target. It does not stay over here, and it definitely doesn't get over here really late, because now their whole body would be back there. Okay? Now, that would make it much easier. If I get my pressure 80% on my trail foot here, and then it's moving forward, it's going to be much easier to feel like I can stand on this left foot or lead foot at impact and into my follow-through. And we just don't see that with high handicappers, right? And so if that is the case, we can't talk about force. We can't talk about those things yet. We've got to get pressure in the right spot, okay? And a very interesting thing, you know, you will find when it comes to good players, elite ball strikers, an interesting thing happens with their pressure. I'm on my force plates here, and one of the things that you will see from a good player when you put them on these force plates, as they set up, let's even say that they are like 50-50 at this setup position. Something that happens almost every single time with an elite player, before the club moves back, there's a pressure shift forward, okay, before the pressure shift then moves back and the club moves. And what we call that is a counter movement, right? They don't want to start from zero, so they push forward to make the club go back. And obviously it makes sense, right? We don't want to start from zero, as I said a second ago. So what you will see from good players is, and you might not see any movement in a 2D video. You literally might not see their body move at all, but from the ground and with pressure, there is a counter movement forward and then things go backwards. And one of the things that this does, right, it makes it easier to get pressure to the trail foot sooner, so that it makes it easier to get pressure from the trail foot to the lead foot sooner in the downswing. So the drill, this is what you're here for, the drill to start to make this happen, right, and start to understand what a proper weight shift is, the drill is simple. The drill is actually set up, push the club forward. That is going to pull pressure forward. Push the club forward and go back. Push the club forward, go back. Okay, now what we're doing is we're getting an early pressure shift into the ground. We're getting those things happening sooner. Most amateur golfers start from zero. There's no counter movement. They move the club. There's still no pressure movement, and then they get over here late. They've swayed off the ball. Their mass has moved to the right. They get 90% of that pressure on that trail foot at the top. They got no chance, okay? So we're pushing it forward, pushing it back. Pushing it forward, pushing it back. Now we're going to push it forward, push it back, go to the top. But as we get to the top, we want to feel more pressure on the lead foot. So we're getting this thing to move quickly back and forth. You might, as a player, the first time you do this drill, you might fall forward. So we push forward, push back, go. You might fall forward. I don't care. That's a good thing. You're not stuck back here on this back foot. You can't play golf back there, okay? So obviously as we learn that, then we can just do this with pressure and not move the club. Forward, back, forward. And it's going to feel way quicker than ever for you, right? Once again, most amateur golfers are just moving that pressure way too late to have any chance, okay, at having a proper weight shift or pressure shift. And as I said, we can't talk about force production at that point. So this is going to feel very, very quick from a pressure perspective. And as I said, you might fall off balance. That's not a bad thing. Your brain has to learn how to stay in balance with this newfound sort of pressure shift movement. And there is zero doubt in my mind that you will. Okay? So once again, forward, back, forward. The pressure is moving forward really, really soon. And then we're just going to hit one with the same feel. Forward, back, forward. And we're going to hit it. Forward, back, forward. Really solid. What you'll see is oftentimes your low point's going to be moved ahead. Your ball striking is going to improve, right? And all of a sudden, you start to figure out what this actually feels like, okay? So we'll do that again as a really solid strike. Forward, back. That was late. I didn't get my pressure forward. I didn't say forward. I said forward, back. It was late, and guess what? I hit it heavy, okay? So we're going to do that again. Forward, back, forward. We got to get forward, okay? Forward, back. forward. Better. Really good there. Okay. Do one more. Okay. Now, for me on this one, right? I typically don't have an issue with this pressure shift. So I'm going to make a normal golf swing for me, and I'm going to focus on my turn, right? And I'm not going to worry about forward, back, forward. And it's going to be my natural rhythm and my natural flow. We're going to see my club head speed go up. Previous swing was 87. This swing was 90, 91 and a half. Okay. Low point still really good. Ultimately, many people struggle with this. Okay. And if you start to push forward, push back, push forward, push back, get back forward. Push forward, push back, push forward, push back, get back forward. That's a proper weight shift. And obviously, like anything else, it can be overdone. But if you struggle with too much weight on the trail side, very late at the top of your backswing, I don't care if you overdo it the other way. Because once you overdo it the other way, we then can find the middle, and you're going to be just fine with that weight shift. So, as always, thanks again for watching. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Any comments, any other ideas for videos that you guys want to see, leave those down below. I'll see you soon.